we recognize that this is the time of season that many of you begin like reflecting on the current year and because we're in the fourth quarter, the year is ending. So now you're trying to plan for next year and so as you progress on your unique path to financial fulfillment and set intentions and goals, we want to talk to you today about some defining moments. Welcome to Wealth and Wisdom Together, the podcast that guides Christian women to financial fulfillment by walking boldly in your steward identity.
We're your hosts, Willa Williams and Wesley Eccles, founders of Trinity Financial Coaching and Sisters in Faith, here to help you align your money with your vision.
If you're a high-achieving woman earning well but still wondering, why don't I feel further along? You aren't the only one who feels that way. And we're here to remind you that your path to wealth is unique and spirit-led.
That's why each episode equips you to manage money confidently, live life purposefully, and build wealth intentionally without compromising what matters most.
Because you're listening or watching, you're already on the path. This podcast is here to help you keep going with faith, clarity, and real-life strategy.
So like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss another episode, any episode at all. We're on this journey together.
Welcome to another episode of Wealth and Wisdom Together. We are so glad that you are here with us today. We are your financial coaches to help you put all the pieces of the puzzles of money and finances together so that you can manage money with confidence, live life with purpose, and build wealth with intention.
Yes.
We want to have a conversation today that's going to help give you some clarity, as always, right? Some energy and some focus, okay? So, and what we want to talk about is surrendering.
Yes.
And surrendering tolerations. And we're going to give you some more detail of what that means. And I was in service a few weeks ago, and our pastor was talking about defining moments and how we have these points of time in our life where it comes to a point where you got to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make a decision. And then you also have to make a decision and typically in these defining moments, you have to make a decision that lines up with your values, what you believe, where you think God is leading. And oftentimes when we get to that point, it's hard for us to make that decision because of tolerations.
Yep.
Now, we have to give a shout out to our coach, Kelsey Dickey, who shared an exercise with us at a retreat that we would do in her program. And in this exercise, she taught us about these tolerations. And so what we're going to share with you today is inspired by that very exercise that we did. So, and as I'm thinking about it, I just wanted to share that, I enjoy working in my flower bed. So let me tell you, I'm trying to bring how all of this, give some color to it so you can understand why we want to talk about this and where we're going. So I like to work in my flower beds, and my favorite flowers are my rose bushes. So in the fall and in the spring, I do a pruning process. And, obviously throughout the season, I'm going to pull weeds and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I prune my roses, I'm removing dead and diseased parts of the plant so that it can grow. It's healthy, it has a good shape, and it increases its blooming potential. Because when something is pruned, it causes a chemical response for growth, for new foliage, for buds. I pull the weeds from the root, preferably, because that can harm my plants, damage the landscape, attract bugs, all that. I don't like none of that. The weeds compete with my roses for water and nutrients and sunlight and space. So I do everything that I can to keep my rose garden pruned keep it weeded. Those are some things that we have to do in our life.
Yeah.
Every now and then in life, we have to stop, examine our own garden, the garden within, right? I think there's a book called that actually by Dr. Anita Phillips, but you got to examine it and decide like, what am I tolerating? What is growing there? What weeds are growing? Or what are the branches that are growing that have no buds? Like there are things they're actually called what are called suckers. You know, if you look at a rose bush, you can see this very long branch of or stem of a rose bush. It has thorns, it has leaves, but it has absolutely no buds. And it's just taking up space. And my grandmother would always say, no, you got to cut those suckers off because it's taking the same amount of energy to grow that away from the stems that actually have buds, right? So there are things in our lives that are doing that to us in our everyday life, spiritually, mentally, socially, physically, and financially.
Yes.
So, you know, regularly we should ask God to reveal those areas in our lives that need pruning, what weeds need to be pulled, engage him in a process of letting go of anything that's holding us back, that inhibits our fruitfulness or hinders our productivity.
As you're speaking, it reminds me of what our pastor has told us several times. Remember when he says everybody don't belong on the main
On the
floor
front row.
or the front row of your life?
Yeah.
Because they don't bring, a benefit. Put them up in the balcony. Prune them away from the things that are there for you that are supposed to benefit you. So as you were speaking, I just kept getting these visions in my head of him saying, yeah, you're not a front row person in my life. He said it with all love. And we received it with all love.
All love.
Because we understood. We understood exactly what he was saying. And it just tells us just what are the things that we tolerate.
Yes.
What exactly are tolerations? And when you listen, look it up. Toleration, a definition. You always need to get the definition sometimes. It's the act of putting up with or allowing the existence of beliefs, practices, or behaviors that one agrees with, finds wrong, or dislikes, without prohibiting or interfering with them. The main thing in that is putting up with.
Putting up with. Yes.
Or allowing.
Yes.
Yes. Things that we allow to continue in our lives. Things that we put up with in our lives that are not beneficial to us. And we all have them. We all have things. Oh boy. Yes. And as we speak about it, they come up in your mind. And I recall when we were going through listening to this exercise for ourselves, the things that were coming up, like, why I let that? Why? You start asking yourself, why do you let that keep happening? Why? It's an easy fix. Why don't you? No, these are things that bother us in our lives, and we have control over them. But we tell ourselves sometimes that, I ain't gonna change it.
It's good
enough. No, it's not. Those kind of thoughts can hold you back.
It can.
In subtle yet profound ways. It could be teeny little things that keep you from making giant steps forward. Because when you allow them to continue, you're not going forward as you should have. They affect us constantly. They create a pattern where we just settle for less without even realizing it. And we don't realize it because, well, that's just the way things are. Oh, we just do it like that. Oh, it's just like that. Oh, You know what? And you
It's
speak.
always been that way, so why change it?
Yeah, yeah. You speak about flowers, and you're the outside gardener with the roses. My husband takes
Mm-hmm.
care of the yard stuff, so I told him if it don't go in the ground in a perennial, I ain't gonna touch it. But the rose got thorns on them, so I let him handle that. But the inside houses, we live in a state that I'm not as familiar with how to deal with the flowers down here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the inside houses, the inside house flowers, indoor plants. I have been walking by, and I'm going to say this. I am not embarrassed because it's real. A money tree, another type succulent,
Mm-hmm.
African violet, and buy them beautiful, and then I sit there and I watch them as they just
Slip away.
and I'm like, well, is it water? You get watered, you get ice. I see this stuff online where it put sugar in it, put coffee in it. It's asking. I don't know what they, but I got tired of looking at them last week. I just got tired and I asked him, do you need some dirt? He says, yep. I got a couple spots outside. Here, you can have these. And I got in my car and I went to the Saturday flea market where the farmers come and they bring their plants.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this time they only had the big trees and the 2 gallon. But I don't want that. I want house plants. So I went to the department store and I picked up some plants. But they're beautiful. And I bought the ones that I was used to dealing with in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to grow them. And they are growing now. And they just so beautiful. But I was tolerating that because I just didn't feel like being bothered with them. I don't feel like being bothered. It's okay. It's in a pot. The pot's pretty, but they look like they dying. They were holding me back.
What you said is key.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be bothered with it. And that's what happens. Mm-hmm. So the tolerations weigh us down and influence in ways that we don't always notice. Oftentimes because we just don't want to deal with it. We see it. And when I say we don't notice the impact that it's having on us because we see it and we just be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. It's all right.
You know what I started thinking? Like, well, when people come in, they look at that, and I guess they say, why she got the
dead flowers?
Oh, boy. But I know exactly what made me turn around. My mother got a rose, one of the many living roses delivered from family from Michigan. And when it came in, it looked like it was a bit challenged. But I said, okay, I'm going to work on this thing. I worked on it, and guess where it is? The dirt from that rose is out there in the yard somewhere because it died too. Like, I can't do this. I can't live like this. You have to make a decision. Yes. And once you make that decision, then, you'll go forward and you will do what you have to do to eliminate these things. You surrender, basically.
You had a defining moment where you said, I am no longer going to keep dead flowers, plants in my house.
Couldn't do
acting like I got a green thumb and I don't.
But the problem is I do. I do have a green thumb.
Okay, for these particular types of flowers.
Yeah, I just got to, when we...
but it's okay. But this is Holy Spirit because how even what you just said there is like that's why it feels challenging sometimes to even see and recognize the tolerations because they're beliefs based on beliefs and stories that we've chosen to embrace.
Well,
you have the power to adopt a new perspective.
Yes. And I have to be real. So I had to surrender. Yes. You can do it. So set yourself up for success. Eliminate the things that you've been tolerating. Yes. Surrender them and say, Father, give me understanding of what my next step should be and help me walk along with you to get it done. And so I open myself up to the Holy Spirit. And he did it. He did it. He I'll say God pruned.
No, but you know what? But so why did we land here? We landed here because this is exactly where God wants us to be. We
Yeah.
landed here because, as Willa just said, she surrendered. That was a burden for her. So she surrendered her burden, trusting God. She's trusting herself.
Yeah.
She's going to embrace this process. We encourage you to meditate on God's desire to prune you and
Yeah.
open your heart to the Spirit and agree to God's pruning and follow through with whatever God leads you to do, trusting that in the right time, He will produce a wonderful harvest in your life.
Yes.
John chapter 15, verses 1 through 4. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, He takes away. And every branch that continues to bear fruit, He repeatedly prunes so that there will be more fruit, even richer and finer fruit.
Yeah.
Pruning is a natural part of life. Pruning is a natural part of life. Verse 3 says, you are already clean because of the word which I have given you, the teachings which I have discussed with you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. Just as no branch can bear fruit by itself without remaining in the vine, neither can you bear fruit, producing evidence of your faith, unless you remain in me.
That garden analogy, that tree vine analogy rings so heavily for those who are gardeners, those who love plants, those who are flowers. Because when you think about it, we know that when we tear off the dead pieces, it encourages growth.
It does.
It encourages growth. But we have to surrender and then actively identify and remove those pieces.
Yes.
You got to get them out of your life so we can align ourselves with God's pruning process in us and in our pruning process for that flower, that goal, that whatever it is that we need to make a change for in order to put it on the right path.
Yes.
So that we can accomplish it. You know? We really want you to think about, truly think about what things you're tolerating.
I was just going to say, that's a hard question. So what are you tolerating?
Yeah. Hey, can we pause for a moment? If you've been listening and thinking, I want to be more intentional with my money, but I'm not sure what my next step should be, we've created something just for you.
It's called Your First Step to Financial Fulfillment. And it's a free guided audio experience to help you align your money and mindset with clarity and confidence before you ever book a coaching session.
Inside, we walk you through powerful shifts, faith-led reflections, and the exact steps we guide our clients through when they're just starting out.
You'll walk away with a clearer picture of what's holding you back, where God may be leading you next, and how to finally take that next step without pressure, fear, or overwhelm.
This is the same clarity-focused tool we use inside our coaching program, and now we're giving it to you for free.
Tap the link in the show notes or visit www.mytfcoach.com/fulfillment starts here to get instant access, or click the link in our show notes.
Your financial journey deserves clarity, not confusion.
So Willa defined what a toleration is. I'm going to just kind of flow through. We're going to put words to it.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be anything that's not working in your life at this point. It could be anything that's broken and needs to be fixed. I had a broken mixer sat on my counter for almost 2 years, 3 years. Because I didn't make a decision to, it was broken. I looked up what it was going to cost to get it fixed. And it was like, you might as well just buy a new mixer by the time you go through all of that. But I had a hand mixer. So every holiday when I go to baking, I would get frustrated because I would go grab the big mixer and forget that the stupid thing didn't work. And I would go grab my hand mixer and take forever. I don't know why I tolerated that thing sitting. It sat in the cubby on my counter for, and I finally got rid of it and bought a new one. I don't know what it was, but again, it could be something that's broken that needs to be fixed. But again, it was limiting how I could perform.
That's the key.
It was limiting how I could bake.
That's the key.
What I could bake because I needed the stand mixer. It performs better for me.
You know what? When you say that broken and needed to be fixed, it just took me. We have these conversations off the podcast all the time, y'all. But y'all, we just opened up to y'all right now. Mine wasn't a mixer because that's high up in the cabinet. You the baker, I'm not. I pull it out when family comes over. They want to use it. I do the little hand thing to make my soup and stuff. I love it. But mine was a electric can opener. It wasn't and I used the thing, and every now and then the can would pop and it would be half open. Like, what's up here? And then I learned how to work with it. But if somebody else was over and they were trying to open a can or something, and they were like, well, what's wrong? Oh, here, let me do it for you. Like, I shouldn't have had to do that. So what did I do? I ordered another one, a little fancy kitchen mama, some kind of little thing that you sit on the top and it goes around. It's really kind of fancy little thing.
Right.
And then I still left the other one sitting there. After about a month, I said, well, I might as well put this up in the cabinet because I'm never going to use it again. So I'll probably discard it. Yes, I will discard it because I'm never going to use it again. But it hindered me. It made it situations where you could cut yourself. When you have a can opener like that, if it pops, and I know y'all done had this experience, when it pops, then you can have juice from the can all over your counter, and you're like, oh, no, I got none. But those are the kinds of things,
But you said you adjusted to it.
I did.
I figured out how to adjusted to that instead of getting
figured out how to use that thing. But all I had to do, I could have saved myself a whole lot of work, a whole lot of comments from people. Why don't you what's wrong with that one? Because that's what I would say. Well, what's wrong with that one? Because it still worked. It worked for me, but I was holding on to something that was really holding me back, keeping me from getting done the things I needed to have done. And it helps you when you think about another definition of what a toleration would be. It would be anything that you've started but haven't completed. How many projects? Well, how many projects, Lord.
Right.
And or anything you've been meaning to start, but you just ain't got to do it yet. When we list these things and we think about them just like this, they become so real and so common to us. It's like
it's because it's there are things is real in our lives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How about the negative emotion that you dwell on? Or a ruminating thought that is repetitive and debilitating?
Why keep thinking about it?
How about something that you want to do but you're not doing it?
Mm-hmm. A negative habit that don't serve you. It ain't serving you. Oh, or a person who drains you. A person that you just hate to see him coming. Oh my goodness. Okay. Or you see the phone. Like, okay, well, yeah, I'll talk to you for a couple minutes, but I gotta go.
Here's one. Anything you say yes to, but you should be saying no to.
Ooh. How often do we do that? That's a hard lesson to learn, but it's one that is very important.
And on the flip side, the things that you're saying no to, that you should be saying yes to, or afraid to say yes to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, look, we could go on and on and on and on about the tolerations, and the purpose isn't for you to just focus on all the negative things that's going on in your life. We promise you there's a reason. Again, you can't submit a thing to the Lord if you can't name it at times. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to put words to it, so that in your surrendering, in your praying, you're able to put words to it so that you can give it to God so that he can help you reframe it. Now, we talked about some things in general, but now we're about to get into the nitty gritty about your
finance.
Because you come here to get financial information. Right. All right. Are you tolerating inconsistent savings and lingering debt? You save something some months, then life happens, and you just, it's just a cycle of Inconsistent savings, lingering debt, no true budget system or spending plan or cash flow system.
Whatever you want to call it.
You don't really know where your money's going.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you tolerate decision fatigue and second guessing?
We did a podcast on that. Boy. Yeah, decision fatigue. Are you tolerating being guilty when you spend, or shame when you look away when you know you should have spent? Does it make you feel like you wrong just because you treat yourself?
That can be a toleration.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
How about tolerating having a high income but low traction? Meaning you got promotions, you got raises, but none of that has really translated into peace, progress, or growing your net worth. That's a toleration. Is that,
You've been working, you planning for retirement, but you have underfunded that as a priority. So it's falling behind. What about that emergency fund? It's kind of patchy, got a little bit, I don't know. And investing feels confusing or risky. Those are things that can be tolerations. Recognize what they are, pray about the next steps, and go forward.
a toleration is a fragmented tools with no plan. Like you got the apps, you got the spreadsheets, but and in some instances you have the advice, but nothing is aligned. So nothing ties back to your values. Nothing ties back to a single roadmap. Nothing ties back to help you put all the pieces together.
Yeah.
And here's one that we hear all the time. Life is busy. So between work, family, church, other responsibilities, what you need to do for your finances, it just keeps slipping into next week, into next month, And if any of these impact you, just say, ow.
Yeah.
This is not shame. This is not judgment. But this is really, really, really to lift the veil so that you can get to a defining moment, a crossroad, if you will, to say, you know what? I want to surrender these tolerations and go another way. Because you might start seeing a pattern. When you start thinking about the different things that you're tolerating, you might see a pattern. You might see that some things are in common. There may be some underlying beliefs that form some of these things that you're tolerating, or reasoning or reasons why you're justifying the tolerations.
As you're thinking about it, as you just begin to think about and ponder the things that you may be tolerating, have you kind of seen yourself in some that we have named? Are there patterns?
Yeah.
Do you have any beliefs that you feel are accepting that allow tolerations to persist? Things that you believe that allow the tolerations to persist. You have to ask yourself, what am I choosing to believe, or what story am I buying into that allows me to accept these tolerations? This was a question.
That's the question.
This was a question that I had to really get in the mirror and
That's
say,
the question.
come on, girl. Now,
like I said, yes. What excuses have you been using to justify your tolerations or to dismiss your desire to eliminate them?
Yeah.
Now, you have access to this podcast episode, so this reflection may take some time. So be patient as you list this out, but it's not to fuel anger. It's not to fuel frustration. It is for you to really just to name it so that you can reframe it.
Recognize it, then do something about it.
Recognize it and do something about it. Open up your heart to the Spirit, align with God's guidance in this pruning process, and act on whatever God is revealing to you. Because once you do that, then you're able to flip it around and and decide what you would choose to believe instead,
Yes,
or how
that's
you will
important.
rewrite that story
Mm-hmm.
for your future. So that's ultimately where you want to be, because God is going to allow you to reframe it. And I think there's some ways that you can reframe it where you can. Sometimes we want to reframe things and we want to reframe it so far into the transformation that we forget about the process. And then it frustrates us. And then we could slip back into the same thing that we were tolerating. Right?
Yeah,
So
I laugh because I can see it where we get tired and it's
yeah.
work. And I'm like, oh, forget it. It was okay.
Right.
I'm just gonna stay with it. But no, you are so right. Just
Yeah.
reframe
So
it
sometimes
and
you
do
have
the
to
work.
find
Mm-hmm.
a neutral position. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So you could be, maybe you just feel like you're disorganized, right? You just like, I'm disorganized, and you tell yourself that it's organized chaos. Oh,
You say I know where everything is.
because you come on, because you know where it is. Just because you come in here and you can't find. I know where everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because we all know cluttered space can lead to cluttered mind. Like it's an outflow of what's going on mentally. So
That's right.
cluttered space.
That's right.
And so you just say, I got organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, why are you even claiming chaos in your life, and even in that context?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than jumping all the way to saying I'm super organized and I'm doing this, that's a huge swing. You need a more middle of the road neutral thought. So maybe you might go from I have organized chaos to I'm learning how to become better organized, or I'm giving space for better organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good.
So you're no longer claiming that I'm disorganized or I have organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You got a more of a neutral perspective where you're saying I'm capable of learning how to be organized. Or like I said, I'm learning. I'm capable of learning. I'm capable of, maybe you do one section at a time. I'm capable of clearing it off my bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll come work on my desk. Like you got to give yourself some incremental, achievable steps sometime, because we could go from one end all the way to the other. And that's not always healthy for us either.
Mm-mm. And we.
Even when we have God in the midst of it,
That's
we
right.
because it's a process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is a process.
And
So
another thing is we have to give ourselves some grace, because a lot of times we will give others more grace than we will ourselves.
yeah.
So we have to make a decision and choose
Mm-hmm.
to just do something different and
Mm-hmm.
give ourselves the time and the ability to
Mm-hmm.
do that thing different.
Mm-hmm.
That it might not work overnight, but work on it, work toward it, and you can make it happen. Give yourself permission, it might take a little bit,
Exactly.
but just it'll come to you.
Yeah.
It'll come to you, and if it doesn't happen, the change don't take effect immediately, doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that. It
Mm-hmm.
just means that what you're trying to do is write a new belief for yourself to reframe that toleration that you have been carrying in your life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
while it's unfolding, you want to give yourself grace.
Yes. Yes.
You really want
So
to do that.
remember, this is an exercise of surrendering,
Mm-hmm.
trusting God, trusting yourself, and trusting the process.
Yeah.
It really is. So meditate on God's desire to prune you. Open your heart to the Holy Spirit. Come in agreement with God's pruning. That's important. Don't fight it. Come in agreement with it.
Yeah. Align yourself with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Following through with whatever God is leading you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then trust, because what his word says about pruning, that you will have a wonderful harvest in your life when the time is right. Because oftentimes that pruning process is also building character. And it's not until we can work on some of our character that he will release us into what he has for us. So trust that process.
Yes.
Trust that process. So this is all about finding your internal motivation, and it's not coming from a place of external obligation.
Yeah.
You want to find that inner drive so that you can really do the work to reframe it based on who you want to be, who you're becoming, so that you could put yourself and set yourself up for success.
And
Okay?
remember, this isn't like you get these tolerations and it becomes your to-do list. It's not like that.
No.
It's really not, you're not going to get it done all over the next month. This is your to-do, fix all your this is critical. It is really important because these are things that have been holding you back, but you identify them and one at a time. You reframe them, align with God, trust the process, and you begin to see yourself moving forward as he has provided for you.
Yes.
Yes.
So, defining moment. If you've gotten to the point where you said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, we are challenging you to look at your tolerations. What have you been tolerating up to this point? So that at this defining moment, at this crossroad, you can make the decision to do something different. You can choose to do something different.
Yeah.
You can choose to do something so that it can bring you a fruitful harvest.
As always, our end goal is for you to activate the power of your steward identity and discover your unique path to financial fulfillment. Trusting God, trusting yourself, and trusting the process. So bye for now, and continue to tap into wealth and wisdom together.